Making progress. America's central bank says vaccinations have helped get the economy back on track, but it is not time to start removing support. And soaring screen time, Facebook revenues jump as we spend more of our lives and money online. But could the boom soon be over? Hello there. We start in America and what's going on with the economy there, because the central bank says that the economy is actually making pretty good progress towards recovery thanks to vaccinations. It's expected that the Federal Reserve has kept interest rates on hold near zero after its two-day meeting. And Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, says now's not the time to start thinking about raising borrowing costs, despite the fact that there's rising inflation. From New York, here's Michelle Fleury.
From this to this.
Thank you.
New York is back. Home sales are up. The reopening of offices and restaurants has the city sizzling again. And Americans feeling flush want to be here.
With the vaccine out and everything, just makes you more inclined to, I guess, just be outside.
Having some freedom back clearly helps stretch our legs, all of us, to get back out and see things we haven't seen in a while.
Pay to go to the museum because it's open now. You know what I mean, go to that restaurant you couldn't go to before. Yeah, spending money on that type of stuff.
We've bought some art, some clothing, things like that.
Home improvement.
Definitely big home improvement bills.
With its newly remodelled 92,000 square foot store, Bed Bath & Beyond is more than ready to greet those able to splurge.
The customer is changing, the world is changing, retail itself is changing.
Mark Tritton, who became president and CEO of Bed Bath & Beyond right before the pandemic, says people have switched from buying things they need to things they want.
You know, in the early piece of the pandemic, cleaning, health, safety were number one. It then moved into, hang on, I've been staring at these four walls for a long time now and they don't look so great and I want to refresh my bedroom. I need new bath towels. I'm experimenting with cooking. I want to do something there.
All that shopping has helped power America's economic rebound. Remember, consumer shopping accounts for 2/3 of all economic activity. But with stimulus money coming to an end and with higher prices offsetting wage gains, is the US in for a period of slower growth? And inside America's central bank, they're looking not just at that, but also at the danger that the now rampant Delta variant of COVID might turn boom into bust.
With successive waves of COVID over the past year and some months now, there has tended to be less in the way of economic implications from each wave. It certainly is plausible that people would pull back from some activities because of the risk of infection. Dining out, traveling, some schools might not reopen.
On financial markets, the Dow tanked recently. Investors worried new COVID variants could further disrupt commerce. But while financial markets fret about the future, at Bed Bath & Beyond, the CEO is more sanguine.
I think that the customers learn to be agile and so have we. And so people still have needs and wants. They may change slightly, but I think we'll be there for them and ready to service those in whatever way we see.
Michelle Fleury, BBC News, New York.
Well, there could be another big boost to the economy after the Senate voted to move forward on a $1 trillion infrastructure plan being pushed by the president. If it passes Congress, and that's quite a big if, it would see huge federal investment in roads, bridges, transport and green energy. Well, Anna McDonald is a fund manager at Amati Global Investors in Edinburgh. And she's right here. Let's see what she says. Or not.
Hello, sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
Oh, she is here. Oh, hello. Sorry, I couldn't quite work out whether we were going to be able to speak to you live. I'm so pleased that we can. It's nice to speak to you again. What do you think about all of this? You know, the president is bigging this up, saying, you know, buy American, this is going to be a huge boost to the economy and transform the country. Is he right, do you think?
Well, there's two big packages that they're hoping to pass through the Senate and Congress. The first one is the massive infrastructure package, which I think is what you must have been talking about just beforehand. So, yeah, I mean, that this is going to be should be pretty transformative for the roads, bridges, waterways, and all the climate change projects they're trying to put forward. And then there's a second massive tranche of $3.5 trillion that the Democrats are hoping to get passed, which will really boost healthcare, education, social welfare, and even more climate change, climate action projects. Now, the thing is that they want to boost what they're able to make in America. The pandemic really illustrated that there are some supply chain issues, and that they don't want to be vulnerable to those kind of shortages again, whether that's semiconductors or building materials and different things like that.
You know, what's quite interesting is, I was listening to a clip of President Biden speaking earlier, and he was talking to truckers in Pennsylvania, and he was saying, buy American, buy American. Now, a lot of the rhetoric coming similar to Donald Trump, America first, America first. However, the social agenda is really the distinction here, isn't it? And it's that second aspect of this that will transform America and change it in quite a different direction if it goes ahead.
Yes, it seems to be a lot more supportive, perhaps, than we've been used to from Republican-run White Houses. In terms of supporting childcare, in terms of doing things to try and make the social aspects of people's lives a lot better. I mean, of course, this is really expensive to do, and so the Republicans fear ever increasing debt levels, and they fear tax rises. But the Democrats are really keen to push this agenda through, and they are in control of the House of Representatives, so it should be something that can happen.
OK, really interesting. Thanks very much, Anna. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Shall we talk Facebook? Because it's just the latest of the big tech giants to report a pretty massive surge in earnings. We're spending, of course, more time and money online. What does that mean? Well, it means in Facebook's terms, 56% jumps in revenue in just the 3 months to the end of June to just over $29 billion. And most of that was coming from advertising. Did you know almost 3 billion people now use one of Facebook's services at least once a month? But the company has warned that revenue growth will actually decelerate significantly in the coming months, and that has sent shares down sharply. So what's the problem? I asked Doug Astrop, who's the managing partner at Exponential Investment Partners in Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, we don't think there is a problem, actually. We think the numbers they reported were pretty amazing. I mean, as you pointed out, 56% revenue growth. And this is a company that's valued at over $1 trillion. I mean, that's incredible growth on the top line. And I think Facebook was just being a bit cautious on setting expectations for the next 2 quarters because the comps are going to get more difficult year over year. So I think they were just being a little bit conservative, but they're still looking at 20-30% growth, which is fantastic.
Now, Apple's new privacy policies, though, do ban apps and advertisers from collecting data about iPhone users without their explicit consent. What impact will those changes have on Facebook's revenues?
Probably not overly significant. They did warn that could be a little bit of a headwind, but they seem to think it wasn't going to be anything, any kind of a game changer. So prospects still look very good. They have 2/3 of the world's internet users using Facebook, and billions of people checking in daily. So it's an incredible audience that they've captured. And also the users love the service. I mean, it's hard to find anyone in the ecosystem who's not really happy with Facebook.
But there are lots of users who would consider it and some of its other services almost like a necessary evil, something that they need to do in order to stay in touch and in some ways stay relevant within their own social circles and within their own work circles. I wonder if data becomes harder to come by and ad targeting becomes more difficult because of that. What other avenues are open to Facebook to make money?
Well, yeah, they've got that great ecosystem with all those users, so they can broaden out into other services, and they're getting into payments and also some media activity with music and video.
Those shares down, Facebook down, not doing quite so well because of those concerns from the company itself. Let's just check in with what's going on with the Asian markets. The Asian markets were actually broadly higher today. We had some reassurance from the Chinese authorities. And also, of course, we heard that the Fed tapering is not going to happen anytime soon. That's it from me. Plenty more a little later on. See you soon.